Why the fuck has everyone become a gangster? I'm Chris, this is Chris Talks, and today we're talking about an issue which, to be honest, it was inspired by two Instagram posts that I've seen literally today, right? The first one being a popular drill rapper, KO, who I actually listen to myself. He's been charged with murder, right? And the primary evidence against him is his own bars, right? So drill music is a topic that we're going to get into very soon. And the second is a young man who had his face slashed into pieces over a Canada Goose jacket, which I think is a perfect summary of the state of London at the moment, right? I think the UK is kind of like a donut, with London being the smaller ring and the rest of the UK kind of being the wider ring that follows suit. Okay, so I'm specifically talking about London, but a lot of these will apply to people outside of London. I myself, I'm a Londoner. I've lived in the inner parts of London, so I feel like I'm fairly qualified to talk about gangsterisms, hood culture within our city. I've been around real bad boys. I'm not claiming to be one myself, but I know who's real and who's not. I can tell which one's a wannabe, and I can tell which one's actually about that life. I think the primary problem behind all these wannabe gangsters is equating manhood with badness. So to actually get a definition of a man, why not refer to the greatest man who ever walked on the face of this planet? And that's my Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The quote reads, "The strong man is not the good wrestler. The strong man is the one who controls himself when he is angry." Now, this is a quote that, to be honest, I need to first and foremost take note of myself, but it's being able to control your anger. Now, this is a message directly to people similar to me, younger than me, right? If you're walking around with your pants hanging low, you've got a bowl in your step, and you think you're the baddest guy on the planet, what sort of character is that? Coming back to my point about equating manhood with badness, I think a lot of wannabe gangsters have huge insecurity issues. So to feel alpha, for you to feel manly, you need to assert your dominance over people who, to be honest, you know you can easily pull your weight over, right? I can easily go and slap a 12-year-old kid, but that doesn't make me feel alpha because I've got my head screwed on right, okay? But the problem with a lot of you wannabe gangsters is you've got a screw loose. So you think you posting up outside of school, asserting your dominance over school kids makes you some sort of man. Now, I want everyone to remember, this is directly pointed at people who are wannabe gangsters. So if you feel like the shoe fits right now, wear it, brother. Because if you're a real gangster and you're really about your business, you're not going to feel hurt about what I'm saying. Because real gangsters still operate with a certain amount of class. And that leads me on to my next point, the entertainment industry. See, growing up, I had this idea of a gangster in my head, which was very gentleman-like, right? I grew up watching these mafia movies, the Goodfellas, The Godfather, even Paid in Full. Let's focus on the first two, mafia sort of movies, right? These guys wore suits, they were well dressed, they were well spoken. At the end of it, they ended up going into a higher echelon of society, right? They were working with unions, they were actually able, at the same time, they were destroying some parts of the community, they were also rebuilding it, right? Now, in my eyes, that's what a gangster was growing up. Even with Paid in Full, right? It's set in America, kind of in a more hood setting, you can call it. But even then, he was selling to provide for his family, right? Now you got kids selling drugs just so they can pay for a Canada Goose jacket or a Montclair jacket. Bro, you're lost. I want you lot to deep. The CIA actually planted drugs in the bottom of society, the bottom barrel of society. If you've watched Snowfall, if you've watched any sort of documentary and done your research, then you know this. And I don't need to recap it, but it goes to show you that this has been a psyop from the get-go. You thinking that you drug dealing is going to take you out and make you some sort of great dude who's able to provide for his family, mate, you're completely washed. And while we're at this point, there's enough drug dealers who are out here, you're spending 8, 10, 12 hours of the day on the roads, you're on foot, you're in a car selling drugs. On a line, firstly, that you don't even own. And secondly, bro, do the maths and you're probably better off working a regular schmegular job. Am I lying? There's enough of you who once you figure out, I've worked this amount of hours, I've made this much money, do the maths. Brother, you'd probably make the same in River Island as a fucking retail assistant. But because you want the freedom of, yeah, but I'm in the new whip though, dealing with the mandem. Because of little things like that, you somehow fool yourself into thinking that's the better option. And then when you're in jail, you're crying because you got guys fucking smashing your door in. because you owe debt, because you become a spice head now, that's when you cry, and that's when it clicks in your head that, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have been a wannabe gangster. Maybe this life truly wasn't for me. Right? Because remember, I'm speaking to the people who have the option to do better. You come from a regular household, bro. You're not some poverty-stricken two-pack, born in jail, whatever. Bro, you're a good youth. You've just decided to be bad. There's kids in Surrey, Norwich, who are talking like they're from the slums. The funny thing with a lot of this is if you speak to guys who are really certified, if you speak to the guys who are really about it, they all say the same thing. This shit ain't worth it. A lot of them were just forced into this life. And if they had the choice, they'd do other things. See, the guys who are the smartest with it, they sell, they hustle, they rob until they don't need to. The idiot is the one who carries on. And the fool, the one who's even worse than the idiot, is the one who purposely puts himself in that position. He doesn't need to rob. He doesn't need to sell drugs. But he chooses to anyway. I hope this is a harsh reality check. If you're a kid now who's sagging his pants, who's chatting back to his Marge, his teacher, got a little bowl in his step, wearing a Pooh Shiesty mask and thinking he's the next big thing. Bro, you're not. And I hope this is a phase and it's going to wear out by the time you're 17, 18. But sometimes it's too late. Sometimes you get shanked at 16 and now you've lost a kidney. Sometimes you've made a wrong mistake and at 17 you went on a move with your mate and now you're in jail. Sometimes some people don't have the luxury of snapping out of that phase. So don't put yourself in that stupid position, because majority of people in jail regret it. I've spoken to people who've been in jail and they all regret it. On the point of the entertainment industry, right? Films and how gangsters were portrayed. I think now we've transitioned from that gentleman-like gangster, almost kind of glorifying gangsters, to now it just being the most savage thing possible. Like, as much as people want to say, oh, drill music doesn't ruin kids. Well, mate, drill music is ruining drill rappers. This guy's in jail because he thought it'd be smart to rap about a murder he did. You don't need to talk about drill music is ruining the kids. Drill music is ruining drill artists. Now, again, I'm going to hit this at an angle influenced by my faith because I am a Muslim. And I know that music hugely affects how you are as a person. It affects your mental well-being. Now, if we go to modern research and modern science, well, 70% of your body is made from water. And we know that music has frequencies and vibrations. So it's stupid to argue that music has no effect on a human, because it definitely does. And now once we amp it up and start talking about violence, chinging man, dipping man, bro, that's gonna get into your mental. I will be the first one to tell you lot that music influences you. It hugely amps you up. Sometimes it gives you energy, bro. The first time I pushed 100 keys off my chest, I was listening to CB. You will never take that risk. Yeah? Bro, it gets you riled up. Now, sometimes you can use it positively. Like I said, you can use it in the gym and amp you up. But now you're a kid sucking balloons in a block and you're fucking listening to some crazy tune about dip man, ching man, and you see a boy who you had a problem with in year 7. And now all of a sudden, your brain's telling you, hey, yo, can we just fucking bust him in the head? And you're telling me music doesn't affect you. You're telling me drill music has no effect on the youth. Please, listen, I know it's got benefits. I know it's helping so many young brothers make it out the hood, make a living. And I'm not denying that. But at the same time, we need to understand it's a double-edged sword. And it comes with negative connotations. It guaranteed does. Now, if you don't believe me and you think this guy's chatting a load of bollocks, well, look at the research. Have a look, because music affects the brain. Music affects the brain. This isn't just drill music. I'm talking all music in general, right? Music is processed in the auditory cortex. It activates the motor complex. Whatever, right? I'm not here to give you scientific facts. I'm just telling you, listen, these youths taking in all this drill music, they've got their headphones in, they're listening to it as they're going to sleep. I personally know young guns who listen to drill music as they fall asleep, bro. This kid is listening to drill music. I shave man down like a, dip man down like a, shot man, all of this, he's taking it in as he goes sleep, bro. It's seeking into his subconscious mind. And you expect me to believe that this kid will now operate like a normal human being. Bro, it's in his subconscious mind. Violence is getting embedded in him. And he somehow is now equating this badness, this violence, to manhood. When we clearly know this isn't right. That ain't what a man is. I'm not just going to focus on drill music and blame that as the sole reason why every kid wants to be a gangster. But it is a huge reason, and we can't deny that. Now, another thing. This whole thing of gang member, gangster. If you look back into it, a lot of these gangs were actually called gangs by law enforcement agencies, by media publications. But actually, within their own circle, these gang members saw themselves as a brotherhood. They were just a bunch of mates who came from poverty-stricken places, and they were actually doing something, right? They were fighting for something, or they were fighting against people. They had maybe a genuine reason to be gangsters, right? Whereas now, you got kids self-proclaiming, I'm a gangster. They're chilling with 4 or 5 mates, and now all of a sudden it's, we're a gang. Bro, you're just 4 or 5 kids. Just shut your fucking mouth. It's so beggy that you're calling yourself a gang. These dudes who were really about it, that was a label given to them. Within themselves, it was just a brotherhood. They were just labelled as a gang.